Lego, try not to continue making videos about this player challenge because you're obsessed and you're a hater and you don't like this team and yada yada yada. Okay, man. Okay, it's one video out of 5 that we make on a day, and I think that it is an interesting enough conversation to bring up because Canucks fans will flock to this, and the Bruins fans who hate my guts so much because I keep on talking smack about your team will flock to this too. Don't worry, I understand my role. I am hiding my own real-life personal biases behind the idea of me playing a heel, just so I could get away with making commentaries about things that I am or am not too much of a fond of. Today we're going over onto NHL.com, because an article published last week by Molly Benjamin goes out there and gives us an inside look at the Boston Bruins. The article is subheadlined, Elias Lindholm is poised to becoming the new #1 center in his first season of a 7-year contract. Now, we've made a lot of videos talking about Elias Lindholm, his progression from Calgary to Vancouver, how he had performed in Vancouver, his ups, his downs, his really so-so regular season, and his stellar playoff run. We had gone over the Vancouver perspective, how they were going to go 7x7. They wanted to re-sign this guy. They wanted him to be behind Miller and Pettersson, and they were willing to give him $49 million to do it. But he said no. He took a higher dollar amount and a higher role with the Boston Bruins team that was not going to have Lindholm playing behind two of the, let's say, better centers in the NHL. Yeah, I mean, Miller and Pettersson, both 100-point caliber guys. Petey still had 80-something points while playing like crap in the most recent season's worth of play. But either way, Elias Lindholm, it's totally understandable why he went to Boston from Vancouver. He got more money there. He's getting a better role there. But when it comes to the Boston Bruins and what their GM Don Sweeney has said about Elias Lindholm, this is where things get very, very interesting. Let's go out there and read what this article goes out there and says. Link will be in the description, by the way, if you want to go ahead and read this on your own time. The Boston Bruins have long known that center, once a strength of the organization, was going to be a work in progress heading into their next era. Though they managed with Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha last season as replacements for the retired Bergeron and David Krejci, it wasn't quite enough. Now, it's Elias Lindholm's turn to fill the void. The Bruins are heading into their next era in 24-25 after a bridge season that turned out more successful than anticipated. The former Calgary Flames and Vancouver Canucks center signed a 7-year, $54.25 million contract, AAV 7.75, with Boston on July 1st. Combined with D-man Nikita Zadorov, Lindholm's teammate with the Canucks and Flames, who had signed a 6-year, $30 million contract, the Bruins went big in free agency and are hoping they reap the benefits this season and beyond. The article then goes over some comments made by Don Sweeney. We've been very competitive, GM Don Sweeney said. We haven't had the success we expect to have in the playoffs, and these types of players, I think, should help us in that regard. Sweeney also talked about how this is going to be a passing of the torch, the transition from last season over to this season, and then the article goes out there and says this. While Lindholm is not Bergeron, having an approximation of the player, a center who can fit on the first line, act as the bumper on the power play, win faceoffs, and be defensively capable, is huge for a team that was not quite deep enough in the playoffs. Way back at the draft, we identified Elias as a player that has a lot of Bergeron qualities, Sweeney said. It's kind of been a 2-year pursuit, to tell you the truth, wondering if maybe down the road he would ever get to free agency. Once he did, it seemed like the perfect solution for both sides. I think it's a good fit, Lindholm said. Playing in the league for a long time, I tried to look at Bergeron as much as possible. I don't want to compare myself or anything like that, but I think I can bring a little bit of what he did and obviously try to come there and bring my game and come back to the player I know I can be, and hopefully help this team to achieve a Stanley Cup. Now pause. That is where we'll cut off the article. I wanted to talk about Elias Lindholm and the idea of him being Bergeron, because of course that's not going to happen, right? He's not going to be a multi-time, continuous, every single season Selke nominee and once in a while Selke winner. He's not going to be that good. I mean, he was nominated for the Selke once in 2022, where he had a fantastic season scoring a point per game with the Calgary Flames, but Elias Lindholm, other than that one season where he was playing with Gaudreau and Tkachuk, by the way, he is in a spot where this will probably be the biggest opportunity of his career. He kind of has no choice but to live up to that contract of $7.75 mil till 2032. By the way, the guy's 29 right now, so by the time the contract expires, he'll be 36. He's going to be making a lot of money. He kind of has no choice but to go out there and live up to any sort of an expectation there. As much as I like to talk about Elias Lindholm, we've made a ton of videos about him, people going out there and asking, hey, is the contract bad? Is he going to be the next Louis Eriksson? Is he going to be the next Jonathan Huberdeau? Is he going to be this? Is he going to be that? Is he going to be bad? Like, all this stuff about him not showing up. And I'll say this, I get it, Boston fans, y'all are coming after me for continuously talking about your guy in a negative way, but you know, part of these videos, I'm making them because they appeal to Canucks fans, and a lot of Calgary Flames fans too, oddly enough, seem to stumble their way upon these commentaries. And I think it's really interesting to get these perspectives from fans who had seen Lindholm in an extended capacity in the past. Sure, Vancouver Canucks fans only saw him for about 7 months, not really as long as the Calgary Flames fan base had. But still, seeing what everybody on this side of the continent is saying about this player and whether or not he is good enough to live up to those expectations. Of course, not be a Bergeron number 2, but provide a lot of the value that Bergeron did. Two-way defensive responsibility, penalty-killing center face-off winning ability, and of course, a knack for scoring points. The question is whether or not Elias Lindholm will actually succeed in providing $7.75 million worth of value for a team like Boston, where they do need somebody like him to step back in there and be the replacement for Bergeron. I mean, Sweeney said it himself, we see Bergeron qualities in Lindholm. We had been trying to go after him for 2 years. And, I mean, all the other trade rumors over the past 2 years involving the Flames and Lindholm always seem to have had the Bruins at the core of it, right? Like, we're always talking about them needing centers ever since Bergeron and Krejci got old. Not even ever since they retired, but since Krejci returned from the Czech Republic and was not really as young as he was, and everybody was talking about, hey, they're going to need another center. They're going to need Leon Draisaitl. They're going to need Pettersson, they're going to need Lindholm. Like, everybody was tossing out these names. JT Miller was getting involved in those conversations as well, if you wanted to keep it localized with the Vancouver Canucks commentary here. But for Elias Lindholm, the Boston Bruins finally got their guy. And I don't want to make it seem like this is going to be the worst thing in the world, even though we have made our panic mode videos already over the summer saying, hey, could it be as bad as Huberdeau? Could it be as bad as Eriksson? Of course, half of those are just memeing, half of them are actually talking about the situations, but in this video I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to whether or not Lindholm will live up to the Patrice Bergeron-like expectations that are being placed upon him. Patrice Bergeron light, let's just say. Not full-on Bergeron, he's not supposed to win the Selke every year, but if he gets nominated once or twice, then I think Boston Bruins fans for the most part will be satisfied. The question is, though, is that really worth it? Especially for $7.75 million. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're a Vancouver Canucks fan, a Calgary Flames fan, or a Boston Bruins fan, how do you feel about the Lindholm deal? And do you think these ideas are worth thinking about? Link will be in the description to the article on NHL.com if you want to read more yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.